Hey there guys, welcome to the channel. Today I am doing a what sold video from the dates of 8/11/2024 to 8/19/2024, which is today. In that time frame I sold 48 items, so yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it. First items sold are these vintage Levi's 501s jeans. They're a men's 29 by 36, which is kind of a odd size, but it's a good size because it's kind of harder for people to find those style of jeans, or at least in that length. They are 80s, and the reason you can tell they're 80s is because they usually have this tag here, and the dates are on here also. I believe it's. Let me click back to that. That's the date there, so it's 3/2, so it'd be 82, I believe. And it's usually 82 because I could go into deep to a deep dive as to what qualifies these as 80s, but there's a few reasons that these are 80s, and the tag itself and that back there, that patch, just scream that 80s. They did have some flaws on it, very right there, very small flaws. I believe it's paint. Um, got some nice wear to it, some nice wash to it right there. Little knee fading. They sold for $41.15, and after fees, shipping label, and cost of goods, my profit was $36.15. Next items sold are these American Top Team Jiu-Jitsu shorts, or MMA shorts. Nothing special here. I kind of took a lowball offer on it just because the guy was buying them from like international, and he was complaining about the fees, and they weren't perfect shape. They did have some flaws on it, if you can see there. I sold them for $20.39. That's what the buyer was all in for. After fees, shipping label, and cost of goods, my profit was $8.15. Next, I got this full send, just your basic t-shirt. Nothing special here. You can find these in any thrift store. You'll be surprised as to how many there are. The reason I picked this up is just because the color, the graphics pretty dope. It's an enzyme wash. Yeah, that's a good keyword right there. I put enzyme wash. If you see this kind of wash in a shirt, you could put enzyme wash as a keyword, and this actually sold pretty fast. I sold it for $22.49. After fees, shipping label, and cost of goods, my profit was $8.69. No, now these shorts, I made a really bad mistake. I thought they were Vineyard Vines when I got them, but they weren't. So it's a brand called Exist. Yeah, they look like Vineyard Vines. I mean, you look at them, they have the whale. It's very similar. Um, the design, the style of it is like a classic preppy. So I priced them pretty cheap. If you see there, I put it $11.99, and I say, what's good is I just put them at 30% off sale. But they did sell, so I sold those for $15.09. After shipping fees and label and cost of goods, my profit was $6.33. But yeah, next time, if next time for myself, I really need to pay attention and just look at the tags and not get overly excited when I find these. But yeah, don't make my mistake. Pay attention. Next item is this 511 tactical button-up shirt. These shirts are everywhere. They're in every thrift store, and they sell quickly, especially in these big sizes. This is the men's 3XL. I usually pick them up from an XL and higher, or double. Oh man, yeah, just XL and higher. Those always sell very well for me. They sell fast, and they sell for pretty good money. I had it listed for $29.95. Buyer sent an offer, so the buyer was all in at $28.06. After fees, labels, and cost of goods, my profit was $10 on this. So yes, definitely keep an eye out for this. And these sell pretty fast. I believe I listed them on the 11th. Yeah, they sold. I think they sold that day. I think they sold the same day. But yeah, definitely keep these out, and like keep an eye out for these. And the covert rapid draw. Rapid draw it's a keyword, but the covert is the name of the shirt, and they call it the covert because in the inside chest they have like the concealed carry pockets. But just look, keep an eye out for those. You'll find them. You'll be surprised they're everywhere. Next item I sold was this Lacoste hoodie. Nothing special. Basic hoodie. You find these everywhere too. Buyer was all in at $28.40. After fees, label, and cost of goods, my profit was $6.31. Next, I picked up something I probably won't pick up again. This is a vintage shirt. It has a pretty cool graphic. I thought it was sick. It's got like this, Y2K hip hop skate, style to the shirt. Um, Yeah, it sat for a while. It did have flaws on it, I believe. I think the graphic, yeah, so the graphic had like cracking on it. You can see there. I mean, it's like a cool tee, but it's like a young kids tee, and most young kids won't pay up for vintage tees that are kind of basic like this. But that's, let me see if I have the tag there. That's the tag hybrid. That's the name of the brand. Most of these tees have pretty cool graphics on them. You just got to get pick the good ones. I'm sorry, yeah, just get the good ones. But buyer was all in on this at $14.68 after fees, labels, and cost of goods. My profit was $3.74. Next, I sold these vintage Levi's women's jeans. They're 505 straights, and I believe these are made in the USA. Yes, they are vintage. That's the vintage tag there, and you can normally tell a vintage tag just by looking at it or not. The modern ones just look differently. See if I have the label here. I'm not sure if I did. I guess I didn't put the label on there. Bad on me. But they did sell. Um, where am I at? Buyers all in on these at $22.86 after fees, labels, and cost of goods. My profit was $5.88. Now you guys are probably thinking like, oh man, he's not profiting much on these. Well, I aim for $10 profit on my items, but any profit's better than no profit, so I'll take $5.88. Next, I got this NASCAR racing shirt. This is so sick, man. Look at this. It's got a really cool graphic. It's got a back print. Technically, it's not an AOP, but I mean that's a good keyword just to get attention to your shirt. Um, but yeah, I don't recommend doing that, but I did with this one. It is vintage, so this is the vintage Fruit of the Loom tag here. Made in USA is a dead giveaway, and the other factors that tell it's vintage, for one, it says 1995 there. It's single stitch here on the sleeve. See that single stitch? And then a single stitch on the bottom hem. Pretty cool shirt. Sold pretty fast. It sold within, I think, the same day of me listing it. I listed it for $49. I took a best offer. Buyers all in at $46.08. After all fees, labels, and cost of goods, my profit on this was $29.85. I believe I paid $1 for that shirt. Next, I got one of my favorite brands, Robert Barraquette, and this is what I'm wearing right now. If you don't know, these shirts are so comfy, so comfy. I love these shirts. But I sold this shirt for $22.99. That's what the buyer paid. After fees, shipping, and label, and cost of goods, my profit was $13.41. Next, I got what people not consider a banger. They used to be bangers, but they're kind of everywhere now. This is a vintage Notre Dame starter pullover jacket. Pretty cool jacket, man. That's the vintage starter tag there. It did have a lot of flaws. I mean, you can see all the flaws. It was missing the pull tab. It got spots. Yeah, it wasn't in the best condition. It was in good condition considering that it's vintage, but I probably could have got more for it if I just waited. But I did take a best offer on it. Actually, no, I didn't take a best offer. But actually, buyer paid full price for this. Buyer was all in at $41.98 after fees, labels, and cost of goods. My profit was $15.48. Definitely keep an eye out for these. These are pretty good. If you could get them in a bigger size, I think that's what I had not going for me was the size because the size medium. But if you get like an XL to a double XL, you probably get top dollar, probably about $70 for these. Next, I got these Levi's wedgie jeans. These are modern, nothing fancy here. You find these everywhere. They're in every thrift store. But the rib cage and wedgie fits Levi's are the best selling Levi's minus 501s. For women's jeans, and I did put Big E there, and because they do have a Big E, and when they say Big E Levi's, this is what they're referring to. That there. If you look at modern Levi's, they're all little E's, but this is a Big E, and this is a reprint. If you find Big E Levi's, you're looking at $100 and above jeans because those are technically vintage and probably from the I want to say 60s and 50s. But buyer was all in on these at $31.11. After fees, labels, and cost of goods, my profit was $12.59. Next, I got this Bonobos button-up shirt. Nothing fancy here, just your basic shirt. Bonobos is an okay brand. It's like it's trendy, but then I don't know, man. Like I still pick it up just because I like the way the designs of the shirts are, and they sell pretty decently for me. Um, Buyer paid $19.34 After fees, labels, and cost of goods, my profit was $4.21. Next, I picked up this Puma Italia soccer hoodie. Pretty cool. Pretty cool hoodie. You can see that there. Puma makes a lot of soccer stuff. It did have some flaws on it. You can see the cracking on the graphic there. Nice little patch there, some embroidery. But yeah, not a bad sale. Buyer paid $29.57 after fees, labels, and cost of goods. My profit was $10.92. Next, I sold this vintage DC Rangers Western Pro Snap shirt. Only reason I picked this up because it was in a big size. It was a men's 3XL. You can see there. And it's a tall 3XLT. I usually pick up anything 3XLT, 2XLT, XLT, anything tall or big. Just because they sell pretty decently. It just depends what it is. This didn't sell that well, even it being vintage. Is it right there, made in USA vintage? But yeah, I probably won't be picking up stuff like this again from this brand because the reason I picked it up too, I saw sold comps for like $30, $40. I'm like, okay, well, let me give it a shot. Yeah, it didn't work out for me. But on this one, buyer was all in at $17.83 after fees, labels, and cost of goods. My profit was $8.10. Next, not picked up, but I sold this Twillowy shirt. This brand used to be good. I don't know what happened to it. I think the polos sell better than the dress shirts, and this one did have flaws. It had like a spot right there, and I think that's it. Just had that one spot. But I sold it for $10, I believe. Yes, buyer was all in at 1882 with the shipping and tax. Buyer was all in at 1882 after shipping, label, and fees. Well, shipping, label, fees, and my cost of goods. My profit was $9.55 on that. I'll still pick it up. I just like the brand. I think it's a really cool brand. I own a few shirts for myself. But yeah, it used to be better, the good old days. Next, I sold this In-N-Out shirt. Nothing special here, just a basic In-N-Out t-shirt. It was in really good condition. Just had some like fading right there. Had some like fuzzies around the neck. You see that there. And I always put that in the description, just saying that it has fuzzies around the neck. They didn't have any stains, which I was surprised. Pretty cool back graphic too. But buyer was all in on this one at $24.32. After fees, label, and cost of goods, my profit was $12.03, which is not bad for a In-N-Out t-shirt, you know. And next, I sold this Wrangler retro shirt. It's a modern shirt in a size small. It actually sold really fast. I think it sold the next day, if not 2 days later. That's the Wrangler retro tag there. Nothing special. You can find these at Boot Barn, and these are in every thrift store. Only pick them up if they have a cool graphic though, or a cool design. I'm sorry. This one actually has a pretty cool design. But yeah, nothing special. Just your regular Wrangler Pro Snap. I sold this for $20.16 after fees, label, and cost of goods. My profit was $11.84. Next, I sold this casual t-shirt. So this shirt I was a little disappointed with. I thought it would do better. They're like a vintage punk band, and the graphic is sick. Look at that. It's so crazy, you know. Got dudes with gas masks and AK-47s, Mini 14s. It is vintage. It's dated 2006. Well, I mean, it's on the cusp of vintage. It's like 2 years early, but still, I mean, it's still considered vintage. Yeah, it had flaws. I mean, it was kind of had some holes on it. It's got faded, got peelings. It's a vintage T-shirt. It's a rock shirt, so it's gonna look grimy. But yeah, I had it priced very high. It wasn't moving, so I said screw it. Put it on a 40% off sale. Um, it finally sold. I think I had it for like a year. Buyer was all in at $32.34 after fees, labels, and my cost of goods. My profit was $14.13. So I'm not too mad at it, but I don't know. I personally, that's just my opinion. It should have got more just based on the cool factor, but whatever. I still made profit on it. Next, I sold this UC Irvine Anteater's jacket, and this wasn't in the best shape. It had some flaws here. There are some spots. A small, looks like a cigarette burn or ash burn. Right there's some spots too, but it did sell still. I sold it for, let's see my notes at $20.98 after fees, labels, and cost of goods. My profit was $8.24. Next, I sold this Coogee button-up shirt. I have a love-hate relationship with this brand. I don't like it very much, but I know it sells. The shirts, I just found out that they don't sell for crap. They don't sell at all, really. I had to force to sell with this one at 40% off. Their sweaters do well. Everybody wants the sweaters because of Biggie Smalls. If you find those, they're upwards of $400, $300. Just depends on the design and the condition. Even in bad condition, they still sell for over 100. But I sold this shirt for $20.45 after fees, labels, and cost of goods. My profit was $5.05. I probably won't be picking this up again. Kind of looks like a kimono shirt. I don't know. Just that could have been a keyword, but I probably won't be picking that up again. Next, I sold the San Francisco Giants. Kind of like a Hawaiian shirt. It's got like a all over print with these like the baseball legends on there. You can see they have Barry Bonds and Willie McCovey, Orlando Cepeda. I believe this is like a stadium giveaway, just based off the tag. Because it's a San Francisco Giants label. It doesn't have an actual brand, so I believe this is a stadium giveaway. Buyer was all in on this one at $20.98 after fees, labels, and cost of goods. My profit was $9.42. So yeah, if you see these, pick them up. They stadium giveaway stuff tends to sell for some odd reason. I guess because they're only available that day. So fans and look for that kind of stuff. Next, I sold this vintage Bullet for My Valentine shirt. Pretty cool graphic on it. They're a heavy metal band. It's got like a snake on there, little emo rock band. It is licensed. I couldn't make out right there. The licensing is right here somewhere, and I couldn't make out the date of the licensing. So, but I know it's vintage. Just based, I've seen that shirt before, and based off the tag, it's probably like I don't know mid 2000s, but whatever. It did sell. I sold this bad boy for $27.59. And after fees, labels, and cost of goods, my profit was $13.58. Next, I sold these Levi's women's flare jeans. They're a vintage pair. They got the flat pockets. They're slouch, so they're a little baggy, I guess. Not sure exactly what the slouch means. They're dated 2005. And if you don't know, that's how you date Levi's. Is that number right there? October 2005. They were in pretty bad shape. They got some wear right there in between the legs. They had some spots, some distressing on the pockets. They still sold though. I sold these for $16.99 after fees, label, and my cost of goods. My profit was $5.70 on that. Now this is like a these are crazy pants. They're I don't know. They're trending. Let's put it that way. The brand is Vintage Red Ape jeans, and let me see if I have the tag. I believe that's the only tag. There it is. The back patch, Red Ape. You can tell by this embroidery there too. If you see that, the reason I picked these up is because they're on trend for one, and then they have like these crazy design on it. The stars and stripes. Well, not stars and stripes, just stars. Trying to like mimic the American flag. And they're in a crazy size. They're a size 48. Unique size. Like I don't find size 48 jeans very often. And they're very baggy. So they're like that Y2K, early 2000s aesthetic. I picked these up. They sold. So what they sell for? They sold for $30.70 total. After fees, labels, and my cost of goods, my profit was $13.69. So I mean, these pick them up. They sell. They sell pretty fast. I had a lot of interest on it. I mean, you see right there, 143 views. I had a bunch of watches on it. I sent a bunch of offers on it, and finally they sold. Next, I got this vintage Fresno State National Baseball T-shirt. I find a lot of Fresno State stuff. I sell it for cheap. I don't care because it's the local college, so I find it everywhere. I believe these sold on a 40% off sale. Um, yeah, that's a vintage tag right there. Made in Mexico of USA fabric. If you see that on a tag, most of the time it's vintage. Some modern T-shirts put, made in Mexico of USA fabric. They're not always vintage, but just look at that tag. You don't see this brand anywhere, so that's how you know it's vintage. Plus the date. The date's like 2007. I want to say 2008. So it's on the cusp of being vintage. It's not true vintage, but it's on the cusp. But I sold that shirt for $15.96 after shipping label, fees, and my cost of goods. My profit was $3.47. Next, I sold this Adolfo like grandpa sweater. I don't know why I put Cosby in there anymore. It's kind of I don't know. It's a style. It's a Cosby style, but I don't know. Putting Cosby in there after all the crap that he's been into, I don't know. I feel funny about that, but it's still sold. It is vintage, made in Korea. It's a wool blend acrylic. I sold that for $18.77 total. After fees, label, and my cost of goods, my profit is $4.59. Next, I sold this A Day to Remember hoodie, and this hoodie, it's a band. I like this band, um, which is I'm surprised I didn't keep it, but I have enough sweatshirts. I don't need another sweatshirt. It's on an older Gildan label or tag. I'm sorry. It had a lot of flaws. It had paint all over this place. It had missing the drawstrings. It had some spots. It had a small tear, but it still sold. I always sell this stuff like this, even if it's thrashed. That's another keyword, thrashed. Because like rock people like that look. It looks grimy, grungy, kind of rough, rugged. So I don't mind picking up stuff like this when it's in regards to a band. So I sold this for a total of $20.99. After fees, labels, and my cost of goods, my profit is $6.76. Now this this shirt was a mistake. I accidentally put this on 80% off sale that I'm running just to clear some inventory. I didn't mean to do this, but whatever. It did and it sold. But this is the Vintage Island Life like Hawaiian shirt. It's got a crazy design, man. Like look at that. Yeah, so pay attention if you put something on sale. I don't know what I was doing. I might have been tending to the dogs or taking taking a text message or something. But I have no one to blame but myself. But I put this on a sale. It's sold. Made in right there. It's made in Taiwan, Republic of China. I believe that stands for. It's sold quick. I didn't expect it to sell. When I sold, I was like, "What the hell?" It sold for a few dollars, but pay attention. Um, Buyer paid $11.06 for that. After fees, label, and my cost of goods, I still made a profit of $3.24. And I believe they used my 20% coupon to pay for that also. But yeah, I probably could have got more for that, but whatever. And it's not the brand necessarily that I was hoping to get more on. It's the fact that the design. It's a crazy unique design. And look at that tag. That's just an old tag, but whatever. Right. Next, I sold this vintage Pendleton shirt, which I bought this and I probably shouldn't have. It's in really rough shape. So I did put this on 80% sale on purpose. And here's the vintage tag. It's their Lobo design. It's kind of like a Western style. And I was really concerned about the shirt because it was like a medium. And it's a vintage medium. So vintage mediums are already small. But it was, oh my God, really shrunk. And I air dried this. So when I got it, I should have known better. I should have just left it. But I like selling vintage Pendletons. But just because it's vintage and it's a Pendleton, and if you're going with your good, you have to go with your gut on it sometimes. Like, and I didn't. I bought it. It sat, and it was in rough shape. Like, I mean, look at it. It's really small. The measurements are tiny. Look at that. And it had a bunch of like distressing on it. Like you can see right there. And I don't know if the Lobo brand is supposed to look like this. Because if you look on the inside of it, it had these like little patches, like they were cut and put on there. So I don't know. I don't know if it was cut in half or something, and then they patched it up, or that's how they come from Pendleton. If any Pendleton experts out there know, let me know. That way, if I find this again, I won't stress out so much over it and price sell for what it's worth. But yeah, I sold it. I just wanted to get rid of it. It had the leather patches on there. Whoever owned it didn't take care of it. They washed it and I think dried it. So yeah, technically, I think these are supposed to get these dry cleaned because it's wool. I usually take them to get dry cleaned, but this one was already shrunk. So I said, "Ah, what the heck with it?" It was already in bad shape, so I just washed it and just hung it up. But it did sell. I did make a profit on it. Sold the 20% coupon. Buyer was all in on this on $11.03. My profit on it was $1.70. So I'm okay with $1.70 profit. But yeah, live and learn. I won't be doing that again. Badish, badish. Sold is another Fresno State shirt. It is a vintage one, made in Mexico, USA fabric. Nothing too crazy. Buyers all in at 11.55. I profited $2.42 after fees, labels, and my cost of goods. So going through these pretty fast now. Under Armour pants, we've all seen them. We've all probably owned some. We've all sold them. I took a best offer on these. I kind of took a lowball offer on it, and just because I could find these everywhere, I find them all the time. Buyer was in at $21.99 after fees, labels, and my cost of goods. My profit was $10 on that, which I still hit my mark. Now this is actually a pretty cool jacket. This is a swingster jacket. It's got the Goodyear like back hit there, and I think it has it here on the chest also. And that's the Swingster brand made in USA. Swingster's a pretty cool brand. They make a variety of jackets from workwear to sports to everything. I mean, it's kind of weird how they do that, and they've been around for a long time. I believe they still make jackets, but yeah, it was quilted on the inside. Pretty cool jacket. I sold this jacket for $37.62. That's how much the buyer paid. It sold with my 20% coupon. After fees, labels, and my cost of good, my profit is $12.59. And I wasn't looking to get crazy money for this. The fact that I made that, I'm really happy with that. Next, I sold these Under Armour just workout pants. They're compression pants. There's in a good size. They're double XL. I normally don't find them in that size, and they still had the tags with them. I listed them as new with defects because they did have stains and spots, which is okay with compression pants because people that buy these pants aren't wearing them for fashion. They're wearing them to work out, and so some spots on them, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. From my experience, actually, not my opinion. But I did sell those for $29.65 total. At the fees, labels, and my cost of goods, my profit is $14.25. Now this shirt, I've had it for about 2 years. I could not sell it. I priced it high, I priced it low, I priced it in the middle, I couldn't even price it at market because there's no other shirt like it. And what it is, it's a heavy metal band. I believe they're from the Philippines. So my problem with this is that it's a very obscure band. That's why I put the word obscure in there. And they're a death metal band. And I believe like in order for someone to buy this shirt, they would have to know it. They'd have to know the brand, not the brand, the band, and specifically look for that shirt. So it's a very specific buyer. I'm learning not to do that. So, but look at the graphic. The graphic's crazy. They're like a military metal, I think they call themselves. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, but whatever. It finally sold. I sold it for a total of $13.72, and my profit on that was $3.20. So, goodbye, shirt. Oh my god, I'm so glad to see that shirt leave. You have no idea. It's been haunting my dreams. Next, I sold these minimal jeans. These are cargo rework, like streetwear. They're like a wax denim jean, which means that the pants itself has like a kind of like a film on it. I sold those for $32.54, and after fees, labels, and my cost of goods, my profit was $11.39. I sold another Tuileries dress shirt, and this went to the same buyer. He bought one earlier in the week, and then he bought another one later in the week. And I sold that for $18.82, and my profit on that was $9.55. And this one did have some spots on it. It had some yellowing in the pits there. You can see the yellow was not that bad. I mean, but it's there, so I still have to note it. But the buyer, he paid, so I can't complain. Now this is one of my banger sales. The brand is Kui. If you don't know about this brand, learn this brand. What it is, it's an outdoor hunting brand. Everything in that brand sells, and these are kids pants, and they sold. I want to say 10 minutes after me listing. I listed them for $64, and I took a best offer on it. Yeah, they're pretty cool pants. That's the brand there, Kui. It's got a little ram head on it, and these are the Sierra pants, Sierra Tack pants. And if you look these numbers up there, it will tell you exactly what they are. Take it to the website. That's how I got the name of the pattern of the camo. It was Verde camo. But yeah, I sold these really, really fast. Made pretty good profit on it. Buyer was all in on these at $52.99. After fees, labels, and my cost of goods, my profit was $40.63. So yeah, that's one of my best sales of the week. Next, I sold these Levi's jeans. Nothing crazy. Basic Levi's, modern Levi's. And they're not the good Levi's. Anything made in Egypt Levi's, I don't like. They're kind of like, for some reason, they're poorer quality. But I sold these. Oh yeah, see, and they got they're stretchy Levi's. But I sold those for $26.22 after fees, labels, and my cost of goods. My profit was $10.02. Next, I sold this Wrangler shirt, vintage, vintage tag, right there. I've had this for a while, so I just wanted to get rid of it. I sold that for $11.67 after fees, labels, and my cost of goods. Profit was $4.59. And this is another pair of pants. Another item. I'm so glad to see leave my store. I do not like Miss Me jeans. They do not sell well for me, but for some reason, if the price is good, I cannot resist buying them because I know people buy them. But this is my last pair, I believe, of Miss Me jeans in my store, and I'm probably not gonna pick them up again. But I sold these for a total of $13.30, and my profit is $4.14. So good riddance, jeans. And I'm sorry, like this. For those who don't know, like they were a bad size, 25. They are a boot cut, but they were in bad shape. Like I shouldn't have picked these up. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. But yeah, I'm just happy those are gone. This here is a vintage destination sweatshirt. It's on a Discus Athletic tag. Vintage right there, made in USA. Um, it's a destination shirt because it's from Visalia, California, the little small airport that they have out there. Normally, Discus is good. With Discus, you want to look out for their college teams. That's usually what they have. It's usually college teams. Hold on one second. Let me get a sip of my espresso. If you haven't had Starbucks espresso, or vanilla, oh my god, you're missing out. These are bomb. I'm addicted to these things. But back to what I was saying. The Discus Athletic, they're usually collegiate sweatshirts. They always have colleges on it. Pick those up; they'll sell pretty well. This one, I don't know why I picked it up. Probably because the price was right, and it was actually in pretty decent condition. But I did sell it for 20% off coupon. It was part of my 80% sale. Buyer was all in at $12.78, and my profit on that was $1.87. So I still made money, but I won't be picking those up again. This here is a pretty funny shirt. It's a vintage T-shirt. It's got like the little quote there, and then it's got like these naked people in the back. It's a crazy T-shirt. It's vintage because this is the vintage Hanes tag, and vintage for itself. It's if it says made in USA, more often than not, it's vintage. If it has a tag, but there's other things to look at. Like I believe here it says 1988 right there on the tag. Not on the tag, on the graphic, on the little license plate there. So when you look at vintage T-shirts, look it up and down. There'll be little hints in there as to what is dated or the actual date. But that's one way, and I believe yes, this one's it's single stitch also. See the single stitch there. Actually, I zoom in there, and it's single stitch on the hem also. But I sold that. Oh, see, and it did have flaws, little like light discoloring, little spots, which is normal for vintage T-shirts. Vintage people who buy vintage T-shirts don't mind flaws. Just be sure to note them. As long as you note them, most of the time they're cool. But I sold that for $19.78, and my profit on that was $10.17. Next, I sold these Polo Ralph Lauren joggers. I should have kept these. I love Polo Ralph Lauren and I love joggers, but I rather sell them. I already have two pairs of these, so I don't need another one. But I sold these for $29.14, and my profit on that was $9.84. Another Fresno State shirt sold. Um, yes, it's the same thing. It's from the College World Series. Nothing special here. I sold that for $11.67. It was part of my 80% sale, and I profited $3.35 on that. Now this is a new brand to me. The brand is called Johnny Big. That's the label there. And what they are, they're a plus size men, big and tall brand. They sell everything big. I mean, everything's in that store is crazy. But they mostly sell like designer, like blazer jackets and coats. So when I found this, I was actually kind of surprised that it was like an athletic shirt, not shirt, jacket, and it was brand new with tags. So I picked it up. It's a crazy size. It's a 7XL. Look at that. This is the biggest jacket I've ever found. But it sold pretty quickly. As soon as I listed it, I started getting watchers and views on it. So I mean, it's probably because of the size. I mean, you don't find 7XL stuff very often, and people who are that size, um, you generally go online and look for clothes. But I sold that for a total of $45.92, and my profit on that was $23.19. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. New brand for me, so I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for that. Here's another band shirt that I picked up, and it's the same thing. People who want know the band and love the band will look for shirts like this. So I probably won't be picking up this band again. It's usually like the popular bands like Metallica, Tool, um, Kiss, ACDC, Megadeth, Deftones, stuff like that. That's really big that people generally look for that go for the most money. So yeah, I won't be picking this. And it had a cool graphic, man. Look at that, like so stupid. And I think it's making fun of Twilight. It says Team Plague. It says like Team Jacob or Team Edward. It's Team Plague, and it says vampires are effing stupid. But whatever. I sold that shirt for a total of $12.21, and my profit on that was $4.55. And then and next I sold these vintage Hobie shorts. It's actually another banger sale. Um, Check these out. These are hardcore 80s, and they're short shorts. Got a pretty cool rainbow graphic on it. Size 38. Yeah, they got a 3-inch inseam, so those boys are riding high. I sold these for where am I at? At $60 and 1 cent, and my profit on these was $43.33. So if you guys see these out there in the wild, pick them up. Somebody will wear them, obviously. And the sell through rate was crazy on these. I believe the sell through rate was like 100%, and they all sold for about $60, and that's what I got for them. So definitely keep an eye out for vintage Hobie shorts. And lastly, I sold this morning this vintage San Jose Sharks jersey. Pretty sick jersey. It's a starter jersey too. Look, it's got the back hit, like the old school, like graffiti, big graphic. It's all embroidered. That's the vintage starter tag. Good size too. Now this jersey was not perfect. It did have many flaws. Had distressing there. Had some. It was missing a button. So there had a cigarette burn and had like some color discoloration washouts and spots. See that there like a run of the material, another spot in the back. These baseball jersey shirts go for big money. If they're in perfect condition, they sell for about $150 to $120 between there. Because mine had flaws on it, I priced it at $79.95 and took an offer on it. Um, Buyer was all in at $61.62, and this is another banger sell. My profit on this was $36.16. So keep an eye out for this kind of vintage stuff, especially San Jose Sharks stuff. That stuff sells almost instantly. I believe I listed this on Saturday or no Sunday actually. Man, whatever. Um, It is sold within a few days at the longest. One thing to remember with this jersey, it also has a pair of shorts. And when I found this, I was digging around everywhere at that yard sale for the pair of shorts, because if you find this with a pair of shorts and they're matching, that's like a $400 pair of clothing. That's insane. That someone I've seen them sell for $400 on a lot of Instagram live on a lot of Instagram live sales, or even what? No, not even whatnot. I would say the Instagram live sales. I've seen them sell for about $400. And it's not always like the San Jose Sharks, the Chicago Bulls, real popular. The Charlotte Hornets one goes for crazy money. But yeah, if you find this, look for the shorts. If you find the shorts, look for the jersey, because together they go for crazy money. But unfortunately, I just found just the jersey, which I'm okay with the sale because I did profit over $30 for that. So, but yeah, that wraps up everything that I sold for the week. Everything's already been dropped off and mailed to the customer. And yeah, if you want to learn how to do this kind of stuff and sell items, for a big profit, because I sold, like I mentioned earlier, 48 items in that week. My profit on everything was $558.04, which leads to $11.62 profit per item, which is over my $10 profit that I try to get. So yeah, I made basically what most people make in 2 weeks and 1 week selling used items, having fun doing it, for one, going out the treasure hunting. But you can make pretty good money reselling. And if you want to learn how to do that, I suggest you subscribe to my channel, and just subscribe to the channel, and I could teach you how to do this and what to pick up and how to keyword and what to price it at. But yeah, it's kind of amazing that you can actually make a living selling used items with flaws and still make money on it and make a living. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm transitioning from a part-time position to a full-time position because that's the goal. But Ish, the kind of thrift, signing off. Peace, and I'll see you guys next time.